Alrighty, so this is the Hurt Your Feelings CFB Whispers Top 25 Power Rankings exclusive. Now, granted, remember, this is not a strength of schedule. This is not a best record. This is best wins head-to-head thus far through 11 weeks heading into week 12. So I'm not going to start with 25. 25 through 13 is subject to change. Those teams still have obviously a lot of ball, just like 1 through 12 do, but we're going to start with 12, that being SMU. SMU is a program that just kind of came out of nowhere since joining the ACC back in the summer. So really, not many people anticipated them being exactly where they're at. They're handling business the way that they need to. They have key wins against TCU, Louisville, Duke, and then, of course, as of recently, Pitt. They did drop that game to BYU earlier in the year, but BYU, granted, is undefeated at this very moment. SMU is sitting at our 12th spot. Now, of course, moving on to number 11, Alabama. Alabama, surprisingly, outside of the top 10, but they did drop a game to Vanderbilt. They also dropped a game to Tennessee. Granted, this isn't the normal Vanderbilt team that we're accustomed to seeing, and Tennessee seems to be a team on a mission, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, but Alabama is starting to catch some sort of momentum. Granted, LSU is not necessarily a powerhouse, or at least we're not used to seeing LSU playing this type of ball as of the last few years, but they still did knock LSU off, and they did it in a very, I'd say, impressive way. I mean, essentially, Jalen Milroe just took that game over all in all, and LSU had no answers for a mobile quarterback, just like they had no answers for that mobile quarterback when Texas A&M took them down as well a couple of weeks back. But Alabama, they're going to do their thing. I think Alabama is obviously worthy of being at that 11th spot. They have everything in front of them. We'll see how that, unfolds, obviously, as we go on. Now, moving on to number 10. Number 10, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, definitely a team that's catching fire. Just knocked off Georgia. Not saying that that's something to technically brag about. Again, similar to LSU, Georgia is just not the team that we are accustomed to seeing, especially under a Kirby Smart type of team. The defense is very wishy-washy. They show up when they want to. The offense can't seem to get things going. That's more in credit to Carson Beck. That offensive line's having some issues. They can't seem to get the running game going. If I were Georgia, though, I would obviously just pound the ball, ETN, Frazier, and then short to intermediate passes for, of course, Beck to kind of get him a little bit more confidence. But Ole Miss still just waxed them, wiped the floor of them. That defense specifically for Ole Miss just shut down Georgia altogether. So that was impressive to see. They ended up blowing Georgia out in the same fashion that Georgia typically blows other opponents out. So they got a dose of their own medicine. I'll be curious to see how Georgia rebounds. But watching this Ole Miss team at this very moment, they're definitely deserving of that top 10 spot. Despite losing 2 games, if they continue to win in the fashion that they're winning right now, I don't see them dropping out. I think that they're only going to do nothing more but continue to build momentum. They'll be a definite dangerous team to play